first Hot Wheels car that I've customized was the Ford Falcon XB from the movie Mad Max Fury Road. Back then it took me 3 weeks to complete, but you can see it is highly detailed. Since that day, I got better with my skills and found myself spending less time on my cars with better quality. My skills got improved, and most of the cars that I've created that days were off-road cars that were influenced from Mad Max movies. Here's another example of a car from the movie Fast and Furious. As you see, it is rusty as well. And here you can see the style going around on my other cars. I really like the lifted trucks with the flatbeds on the back, with the woodwork and all the tiny details that add realism to my work. Of course, some scenes from my garage. Few years later, I was inspired by another movie and made this set for my son. It is the movie Duel. And after that, my son asked for another Mad Max car. So I've created this version of Mad Max car, the black on black. And as you know, I'm running RC cars as well, and they are also influenced by the Mad Max cars. These days, the movie industry celebrates the coming of another Mad Max movie, which is going to be the prequel of Fury Road, which is a side story of the main character Furiosa. So for this week, I thought it would be nice to complete the circle and turn back to my roots and create another wasteland car. And so I've started to think about what could be the right car for this build. On one of my previous builds, I've already used this car with Max at the front and the Warboy at the back, and this bus as well, which was very nice but difficult to build, and also this car, but I never used a van. I wanted something that is more relaxed, and I found a nice van at a local flea market, and here it is, a fire chief van. And as you see, it is missing one of its doors, the sliding door on the right side. Originally it looked like this, but I'm going to turn it into some kind of these apocalypse vehicles. I found these images on the internet and got influenced by them. So, to start things off, I want to complete the door on this side, but let me just drill the rivet and take off the base and see what can I do. Looking down the base, it is a Ford Econoline made by King Star. The bumper is broken. Well, it is a nice vehicle to start with, although it is missing its door, but it is no problem for me. Whenever I'm opening these old diecast cars, I'm amazed on how complex they were and how they designed their cars back then. Today it is not cost effective to use all these tiny parts, not to mention the opening doors. Now back to our little project. I'm going to use these wheels, but I will use a rubber tire in addition. Now as you see, the diameter of the wheel is too big for the tire, therefore I've grinded the wheel a little bit just to make these parts fit together. Using rubber tires on this build is very important because it will give this car a way more realistic appearance. However, I don't want to use a rim that will be too much of a flashy or new style rim of a racing car or something like that. I think that these Hot Wheels rims will fit this build way better. And now from this piece of metal, I'm going to make the missing door. As you see here, I folded the door to match the lines of this car. I'm going to use epoxy as well. Now, since this car is going to be used in the wasteland as a home for the owners of this car, it has to be equipped with a roof rack just because this couple needs to carry their stuff in large amounts. Therefore, I'm going to make this part out of this metal plate. The roof rack of this car is going to take some time to build. Actually, it is the most complicated part on this creation. Now, basically, there are two types of wasteland cars. There are the ones with the weapons and all the war equipments on them, and there are the ones that have no weapons and they are more like portable homes for the people who left behind and survived the apocalypse, but it has nothing that is related to war. So on this build, it is going to be a vehicle without any weapons, just something that will show the overall timeline in which this car belongs to. And after the addition of the bars on top, it is time to add a few extra bars and then add all the little accessories on top of it. And the first part is going to be a spare gas tank. I'm making it out of wood. Now, in order to create the effect of stuff under a cover, I've used a few pieces of this wood and then I've covered the entire piece with some paper dipped inside white glue. Now the next step is to create some dents and knocks over the body of this car, since it is a very used and old vehicle. Now, as you see, there was a little off-camera progression because I didn't want this video to take too long. Basically, the stuff that I've added on top of this car were made from the same material as same as the spare gas tank, little pieces of wood. And after adding all these tiny details on the top of this car, I'm going to have to think about how to paint this car, and obviously it is going to be covered with rust and knocks, even bullet holes as you see here. There are some extra parts that I've added, like the side view mirrors, the visor, the bucket at the back, a water can, a barrel, and a sleeping bag, as well as the cover that holds all the boxes on top of this roof that is secured with a rope. Well, now it is time to say goodbye. Once again, it is the end of this video and I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you soon on my next creation. Please take care and beware in the wasteland. Bye bye.